After a month that included some long and heavy films, I was looking forward to seeing Meg 2 The Trench because it looked like an easy watch and one way you could put your feet up and just see Jason Statham take down some sharks. And it starts off promising, with a reminder of the magnitude and brutality of a Meg as we see a flashback to 65 million years ago where it takes down a T-Rex. And no, unfortunately there is no cameo from Adam Driver. Back in 2018, the first film, The Meg, came out, and it wasn't anything spectacular. It did exactly what it said on the tin, and that's what I wanted. Meg 2 The Trench is directed by Ben Wheatley, and he's done many indie films in the past, like High Rise and Free Fire for example, and so seeing his name attached to this project was quite odd, because he's the sort of director who likes to show his own style and show his creative juices on screen, and so it'd be a bit like Edgar Wright doing a Fast and Furious film. Now the story is based on the 1999 novel by Steve Alten called The Trench, and I can't say anything about that, but what I can say about the film is that it was very boring for the majority of the time.
You can stay, but I'm leaving.
Candy yellow if they're using late season apples. And of course in Canada the whole thing's flip-flop.
As I said, we had a good intro with the dinosaur and the Meg, and now you're just ready to watch the wacky action commence, but instead the film just grounds to a halt. We get a lot of just exposition and scenes with characters which we don't care about at all, and then it goes down into the whole Trench storyline, and the film really just split into two. We have Meg 2 with Trench, but first of all we have to go through the Trench, then get to Meg 2. And it's like going on a date where you go back to their place, you think things are going to start heating up, but instead they bring out Yahtzee.
What the did I do wrong? Tell me!
A lot of what's being said in these earlier scenes just doesn't really matter when it comes to the end of it, because they're one-dimensional characters, they're characters where you don't even know their names, so when they die, who actually cares? Along with Jason Statham's Jonas, there are some other characters coming back from the first film, so it might be worth seeing a recap of that film, just so you're up to date with who's who.
I don't even know who you are.
The most recognisable character is Mei Ying, as she was the little girl in the first film, and in this film we get introduced to her uncle. Now this guy is everywhere in the film. He's the one who makes the tech, he's the one who's got a pet Meg, so they've taken a leaf out of Jurassic World's book there. He even has an Expecto Patronum moment down in the trench.
Expecto Patronum!
And the whole trench portion, which isn't a small portion by the way, is incredibly dull. As we watch our characters walking in the water, it's tough to see what's going on, there's a muddy red tint so you're not really sure who's who, and there's not even any Meg as well. The Meg takes the sideline at this point, so it really does commit to the trench subtitle. I was honestly thinking at this point in the film, I bet there's going to be some sort of betrayal coming soon, and lo and behold, that's exactly what we get. And this is where the conveyor belt of bullshit just follows. Like, we see Jonas being told to breathe through his sinuses in order to survive without any kind of diving gear 25,000 feet under the ocean, I mean, Statham even turns into Palpatine at one point when someone is ordered to put him down.
Do it.
On the surface, a buddy comedy kind of breaks out with Mac and DJ, and fair play to the character DJ because he does take it up upon himself to embrace the absurdity and have fun with it. And that's exactly what we're here for. We're here for the fun, and for the first hour and 20 minutes of the movie, it completely forgets that.
You serious?
Once the film moves into its final act, which takes place on Fun Island, it does start to, get chaotic. But you do ask yourself, why has it taken so much time to get to this point? And I think for those in the future watching this on their TV, they'll be asleep by then. And as much as the last 30 minutes were better than the rest of the film, it was still quite a scramble. It's a bit like an exam where you spend way too long in the first half of the questions, and then you realise you haven't got long left, so you have to just rush through some answers. Like, the team doesn't just tackle sharks, they also go up against little dinosaur creatures and this giant squid kraken thing, which just kind of joins the party and isn't really acknowledged much, especially by Jonas. Like, I don't think he even mentions it once. In the same way as in cartoons, our characters pull out items from their arse, which are just handy for that moment, and they also say things which are pretty ridiculous, and there's some great one-liners, but I have no problem with the script being dodgy because that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for this film to be good bad, but unfortunately it's just crap.
That is one big pile of shit.
It's a film that overall wrestles with itself. It wants to be something more than it actually is, and it just needs to accept that it is just a monster flick movie and people want to watch something quite straightforward. Have a core of characters that the audience can care about, and then just go for it. And in terms of going for it, I understand the film wants to be accessible to more audiences, but keeping it at a 12A or PG-13 means you can't go full on gore mode, and I think for a film like The Meg, it would really benefit from that because we have a film here with a giant shark and a load of people and a load of different creatures. go for it. But that of course is just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on Meg 2 Retrench in the comments below. And if you want to watch another video, on screen is a review for a film which is hopefully better than this shit.